right in. Get ready for your deep dive. Today, it's all about making the most of those awesome fall days.
You know, those days just fly by.
They do, they really do. And we've got this podcast episode jam-packed with activities. And our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to find those perfect fall vibes for each of you listening out there.
Okay, mission accepted.
Perfect. We're talking apple orchards, pumpkin patches, you name it. Cozy nights, outdoor adventures, the whole 9 yards.
It really does capture, like, everything about fall, doesn't it? The crisp air, the colors. I mean, even just think about, like, a warm drink.
Yeah.
It's like a whole sensory experience.
Yeah, and to really dive deep into that, rather than just, like, running down a list, what if we, like, group these activities by what they kind of offer, right? Like,
Yeah.
thematically.
Let's do that.
Okay, awesome. Where do we want to start?
Let's start with what I would call the classics, right? These are the things that people just think about when they think fall. Those,
Yeah.
like, nostalgic things that everyone loves.
Okay, perfect. Hit me with a classic.
Apple picking.
Okay, yeah, quintessential.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than just picking apples. It's the whole experience. Like, picture this. You're at the orchard. The air's crisp. The leaves are turning. You've got all those rows of trees just bursting with apples. And there's that smell of cider donuts.
Ooh, that's taking me back, like those childhood memories of going to the orchard with my family, getting that warm cider, and of course the apple picking for the pies we'd make later. It's just so heartwarming.
You know what I think it is? It's that feeling of connection to the harvest. Like, it's a real community thing, you know? That's what makes it so special. You're connecting to the land, to the changing seasons, even to the people you're with.
And speaking of connecting with people, pumpkin patches have that same vibe, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Pumpkin patches are about so much more than just finding that perfect pumpkin. You know what I mean? It's the whole experience, whether it's getting lost in a corn maze with your friends, going on a hayride with your family, or even just finding a moment of peace amongst the pumpkins. Even if you're there solo, what kind of pumpkin patch person are you?
I think I'm drawn to like those fun parts. Like I love a good corn maze, even though I have a terrible sense of direction.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I'd need a navigator for sure. But like that feeling of being lost in that sea of pumpkins, it really is something special. It's those sights, those smells, everything.
And don't forget picking out that perfect pumpkin, right? It's like
Okay.
you're already thinking of all the ways to carve it, decorate it. It sparks that little kid in you, you know, that playfulness that fall always brings.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of that visual element, right? Apples and pumpkins, they're very much like touch, taste, but leaf peeping, that's all about those visuals.
That's nature's artwork at its finest.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are lucky enough to be in a spot where you get those reds and oranges and yellows, oh man, it's a must-see.
What is it about those colors? Like, what happens? It feels kind of magical.
Well, there's definitely some magic there, but, you know, there's a whole scientific reason for those colors, too. So those vibrant colors we see, they're actually there all year long. Yeah, they're just hidden by the green pigment, chlorophyll. It's what helps with photosynthesis. But as those days get shorter and it starts to cool down, that chlorophyll production slows down, and those hidden colors, they get their time to shine.
It's like nature's grand finale revealing all those hidden colors right before winter comes.
Exactly, exactly. And you know how intense those reds and purples are. It can all change based on the weather, the sun, the soil. Every year's display is unique.
So even for those of us who maybe aren't near, like, those massive, colorful forests, how can we still get in on that leaf peeping action?
Even if you're in a city, you know, there's got to be some pockets of color. Local parks, botanical gardens, even those tree-lined streets can give you a taste of fall. Or you could even think about a little weekend trip to a nearby park, someplace known for those vibrant colors.
A scenic drive through all those fall colors, that sounds pretty amazing. But with all this talk of crisp air and scenery, it's making me crave those, like, classic fall flavors. You know what I mean?
Well, good news, because that's exactly where this episode goes next. There's a whole section on all those culinary delights. And let me tell you, they do not hold back on those descriptions. They'll make your mouth water.
Oh, you've piqued my interest. All right, let's talk about these culinary delights. What are we thinking?
Well, let's start with the ultimate classic, right? A warm mug of apple cider, perfectly spiced, filling your kitchen with that cinnamon and clove aroma. Or how about a slice of homemade apple pie? That flaky crust, that sweet and tart filling, just like what you'd find at those orchards we were talking about.
It's amazing how those smells and tastes can just take you right back, you know? That's the power of fall. It awakens all your senses. It's so warm, so comforting.
Absolutely. And, you know, to build on those fall flavors and that cozy feeling, The episode actually suggests hosting a fall-themed dinner party. It's like bringing it all together. The food, the decorations, the people. You create a whole autumn experience.
Now, I love that idea. What did they suggest for making that happen?
They really emphasize those seasonal ingredients, like roasted squash, apple pie,
Mm.
and creating that cozy atmosphere. Blankets, string lights, even a bonfire if you have the space. It's all about making your home that perfect autumn haven.
I'm picturing it now. A table set with pumpkins and gourds, the soft glow of candles, and the smell of a delicious meal. All fall-inspired, filling the air. It sounds like the ideal way to celebrate with friends and family.
And don't forget, you can be creative with it too. Think about those rich, earthy tones in your table setting. Maybe even adding some natural elements like pine cones or colorful leaves. What kind of vibe would you go for at your fall dinner party?
Oh, I'm all about that cozy and inviting atmosphere. Warm lighting, soft textures, a mix of rustic and elegant touches, and of course the perfect playlist. Maybe some mellow acoustic tunes or some classic jazz, something to set that relaxed and warm vibe.
It sounds perfect. And remember, it's not just about how it looks. It's about the whole experience. It's about connecting, sharing stories, creating memories that last, even after all the leaves are gone.
As we're going through all these amazing ways to celebrate fall, it's making me think about how fall just feels different, like a time to slow down and really appreciate those simple things.
It's funny you say that. I mean, the episode really emphasizes that idea of being present, savoring the moment, whether it's a scenic drive to check out the foliage or those warm flavors we were talking about, even just creating a cozy space to relax and recharge. Fall is like a permission slip to just slow down.
And it's such a contrast to the rest of the year, you know? It's like nature is giving us that cue to pause, reflect, and reconnect with what really matters.
Exactly. And speaking of reconnecting with nature, remember how the episode talked about camping and glamping?
Yeah.
It kind of threw me off at first. I don't know about you.
I usually think of like summer adventures when I think camping, but they actually made a pretty strong case for fall.
Yeah, they were talking about those cooler temperatures, fewer bugs, and of course, who doesn't love a campfire under a starry fall sky?
Oh, I can practically feel that warmth from those crackling flames and the smell of that wood burning. Can you imagine like a mug of hot chocolate or a spiced cider to go with that? Perfect fall evening right there.
Don't forget the sounds too, right? The leaves rustling, the fire crackling, maybe even an owl hooting in the distance. It's a total escape.
Now, for those of us who are maybe a little hesitant about roughing it, they did mention glamping, right? What exactly is that all about?
So glamping, it's like glamorous camping. It's basically a more comfortable, luxurious way to enjoy the outdoors. Think cozy cabins, yurts, maybe even tree houses. They've got comfy beds, electricity, sometimes even running water.
It actually sounds pretty amazing. Did they mention any good spots to find those glamping places?
They didn't get into any specifics, but they did encourage everyone to do some research because it's definitely become a lot more popular lately. I bet a quick search online would give you a bunch of options, everything from secluded retreats to waterfront spots.
Best of both worlds, right? Getting that nature experience without having to, really rough it. But even if you're not going full outdoorsy, there are still tons of ways to bring those fall vibes home. Remember they talked about fall crafts?
Oh yeah, the fall crafts. It's such a great way to get creative, tap into that playful side that fall brings out, and it's something you can do alone, with friends, with family.
What kind of crafts did they suggest? I'm always up for trying new things.
They specifically mentioned making wreaths, using pine cones and colorful leaves, or even decorating with mini pumpkins and candles. Just imagine taking those natural elements and turning them into something beautiful for your home.
I love that idea, bringing the outdoors in, creating that cozy autumn atmosphere. And it goes back to that whole idea of slowing down, appreciating the simple things. It's about taking the time to create something with your own hands.
Exactly. And, creating can be really therapeutic. It helps you focus on the present moment, engage your senses. And speaking of engaging the senses, we can't forget Halloween, right?
Oh, Halloween, the holiday that's all about creativity and expressing yourself. From costumes to decorations, parties, trick-or-treating, there's something for everyone.
Totally. And the episode even talks about how everyone has their own way of doing Halloween, right? Some love the haunted houses and ghost tours. Others prefer something more laid back.
What about those people who aren't really into the scary stuff? What did they suggest?
Well, for those folks, they suggested some fun alternatives, like pumpkin carving nights, fall-themed movie marathons, or even just hanging out with friends, sharing stories, enjoying some treats.
It's all about those shared experiences, those simple pleasures of the season, right? It's a good reminder that Halloween doesn't have to be all about fright and scares. It can be about community, about those heartwarming traditions.
Which takes us back to those classic fall experiences we were talking about. Apple picking, pumpkin patches, leaf peeping. I think Halloween fits right in with those. It's a time to embrace the spooky side of things, but also to celebrate those traditions.
It really highlights how fall offers something for everyone, whether you're into outdoor adventures, cozy gatherings, being creative, or even a bit of spooky fun. It's all about personalizing your autumn experience and making it your own.
Exactly. It's about finding those activities that just click with you, the things that bring you joy. And sometimes it's about stepping outside the box and discovering new, unique ways to celebrate fall.
You know, going through all these fall activities, those classics to some of the more unique ones, it's got me thinking about the whole idea of transformation and renewal that comes with fall.
Yeah, it's like built into the season, isn't it? Those leaves changing colors, falling to the ground, making way for new growth. It's like a reminder to embrace change. Let go of things that aren't serving you anymore.
It's like nature's way of showing us, hey, change happens, it's a part of life, and even when you're letting go, there's beauty in that sense of excitement for what's coming next.
And think about all the creative energy that comes out during fall. Crafting decorations, planning those costumes, the gatherings. There's so much imagination in the air.
It's like we get permission to play, to try new things, tap into that inner child who loves getting creative and expressing themselves.
That's a great way to put it. And that playfulness, that trying new things, stepping outside your comfort zone, it's really freeing, even empowering.
It goes back to what we were saying about finding your own unique ways to celebrate fall. Beyond just the typical activities, it's finding what speaks to you and creating an experience that reflects your own style.
Exactly. And it's not just about the activities, it's how you do everything. How you decorate your home, the music you listen to, what you read, even the way you dress. It's about embracing fall in a way that feels genuine to you.
And appreciating the beauty around us, right? The colors of the leaves, that crisp fall air, a warm fire. It's a feast for the senses.
It really is. It's like this invitation to slow down, be present, and savor those fall days before winter takes over.
Speaking of savoring those moments, I'm curious, what about you, our listeners? What are your unique fall traditions or activities? What captures the essence of fall for you?
We'd love to hear your thoughts, your perspectives. Maybe you'll even inspire us to find new ways to embrace that fall magic.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into all things fall, remember, it's more than just checking things off a list. It's about embracing the feeling of the season, those moments of joy, connection, making memories that'll stick with you even after the leaves are gone.
As those days get shorter and the air gets cooler, may you find warmth in those simple fall pleasures, joy in those changing colors, and inspiration in this season of change and renewal.
Until next time, stay cozy, stay curious, and keep exploring all the amazing things around you.